The NBA is witnessing the birth of many elite young stars, but one name that stands out the most currently thanks to all his performance in the in-season tournament, Tyrese Haliburton. Some even put him beside Finals MVP Nikola Jokic. But how great is Tyrese? This is the story of Tyrese Haliburton. Born on February 29, 2000 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Tyrese Haliburton was the youngest in their family. Growing up among 6 siblings, his fascination with basketball was sparked by the influence of his older brother JD, who played basketball at Southwest Minnesota State University. He and his mother set the stage for Tyrese's budding passion for the game. Basketballs were always bouncing at Haliburton's home, and you could often hear a young Tyrese being fully immersed in the sport. He spent endless hours dribbling. His drive to emulate his brother kept him motivated to excel in the game that they both loved. As Tyrese progressed through Oshkosh North High School, he quickly made a name for himself on the local basketball stage. His sophomore year marked the beginning of recognition as he earned accolades like All-Fox Valley Association second-team honors and for his defense. With each passing season, Tyrese Haliburton's skills improved. By his junior year, he was averaging 18 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. It led to significant awards such as FVA Player of the Year and Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association Division I All-State honors. In his final year at Oshkosh North, Tyrese emerged as a standout star on the basketball court. He averaged 22.9 points, 6.2 assists, 5.1 rebounds, 3.5 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game, paving the way for the team's journey to the 2018 state championship. The peak of his high school career was against Brookfield East. He scored 30 points and flawlessly hit all 18 of his free throws. In a memorial showdown against Calcana, Tyrese recorded 42 points in a single game. Even though he missed out on the title of Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball, his great achievements were duly recognized as he claimed Oshkosh Northwestern All-Area Player of the Year, Wisconsin Gatorade Player of the Year, and FVA Co-Player of the Year. He didn't enter the scene as a highly sought-after 5-star recruit with multiple colleges vying for his talents. Instead, only a handful of major conference schools like Nebraska, Minnesota, and Cincinnati extended offers to this slender 6'5" athlete. Tyrese's arrival wasn't met with fanfare upon joining Iowa University. Even his mother anticipated a potential redshirt season for Tyrese given his unassuming build. But what he lacked in size, he compensated for with talent. Tyrese Haliburton didn't grab the spotlight with flashy moves in his freshman year at Iowa State. Instead, he quietly left a mark on the court. His subtle yet impressive performance once stretched to a record 17 assists in a single game, surpassing a long-standing school record. His impact on the court extended far beyond mere numbers, though his per-game averages might have seemed unremarkable. That day, he had 17 assists. He was never a dominant ball handler. He was a secondary ball handler. That makes him the perfect fit at the pro level. It's about being efficient. It's a numbers game now. His numbers are silly. I don't know what else you want him to do. Even if he had to come out last year, his numbers were stupid. They bring up numbers for certain people, and the rest is Stargate, said his former coach Brian Jonikin. His knack for defense became his trademark. As a freshman, he stood shoulder to shoulder with players like Zion Williamson, and he gathered over 50 steals and 30 blocks in the NCAA Division I.
Haliburton at 3. Wow. Haliburton is hit.
His knack for strengthening the team's defense and setting up opportunities for his teammates solidified his reputation as a budding star on the rise. He returned stronger for his sophomore season with notable averages in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Tyrese emerged as the driving force of Iowa State's defense. He shot over 68% on two-pointers and more than 43% on three-pointers, which seemed almost automatic. However, a fractured wrist sidelined Tyrese towards the latter part of his sophomore. Tyrese Haliburton wasn't the typical superstar known for flashy dunks or showy moves. Instead, his strength was in how he directed the game, opened up space on the court, and boosted the abilities of his teammates. He entered his name into the draft portal after 2 years in college. In the 2020 NBA draft, Tyrese Haliburton found his NBA home with the Sacramento Kings as the 12th overall pick. Reflecting on that night in an interview with Rachel Nichols, Haliburton reminisced about the suspenseful moments, specifically recalling each team that passed on him and the names of the players picked before him. The draft rolled on with talents like Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball, and Patrick Williams, each securing their spots in the first 5. I feel like I should be the number 1 pick, but I'm not the guy that makes those decisions. We can revisit this in a couple years and see if there are any regrets by anybody who picked anybody ahead of me, Haliburton said. On December 23, 2020, Haliburton was introduced to the crowd. His debut off the bench in a thrilling overtime clash against the Denver Nuggets was nothing short of remarkable. He scored 12 points, contributing 4 assists, securing 2 rebounds, and even notching a block to make his presence felt in the game. But during a game against the Dallas Mavericks on May 2, 2021, Haliburton suffered a left knee injury. Despite the MRI results showing no ligament damage, the Kings made a cautious decision and announced his absence for the remainder of the 2021 season.
Point Boston lead.
Is that blowing?
Although facing this setback, Haliburton's efforts and performance throughout his rookie season were truly impressive. He finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting and earned a spot on the NBA All-Rookie First Team. He was even the leading candidate a few times that year. In 2022, the story of Tyrese being where he is now began. Playing for the Sacramento Kings to start the year, he made a mark with some great displays of playmaking. Take January 29th, for instance. Haliburton was on fire. He scored a career-high 38 points against the 76ers, while also dishing out 7 assists, grabbing 3 rebounds, and swiping 2 steals. Despite his stellar performance, the Kings faced a close 103-101 loss. Just a few days later, on February 5th, his name popped up in ESPN posts once again, and this time against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He set a new career best with a whopping 17 assists. Alongside this amazing playmaking, he also put up 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals, contributing significantly to the Kings' strong 113-103 victory. However, in the midst of Tyrese Haliburton's standout season, a surprising twist changed everything. The Sacramento Kings traded him to the Pacers in a deal for Sabonis despite his strong performances and being among the league's top players in steals and assists. The news hit Haliburton hard. He had a real connection with Sacramento and truly cared about the team's success and dreamed of ending their dry playoff spell. Even as the trade loomed, his commitment to the franchise stayed rock solid. Haliburton's dedication to his game stayed intact as he landed in Indiana. He smoothly adjusted to his new team and gave his all to the Pacers. Surprisingly, his skills seemed to rise even higher in his new basketball home. A standout game on March 23rd was when Haliburton faced his old team for the first time since the trade. He hit 13 points, an impressive 5 assists, and 3 steals in that thrilling matchup. Haliburton showed his consistent determination toward the end of the season in Indiana. One game against the Pistons really showed his influence, as he almost got a triple-double with 19 points, 7 assists, and 9 rebounds with no turnovers. During his 2022-23 NBA season, Tyrese Haliburton became a driving force for the Indiana Pacers. His style of play brought a lot of energy and speed to the team's offense. He was all about keeping a fast pace and pushing the tempo, which made the game even more aggressive. Haliburton's way of playing rubbed off on his teammates, who also believed that playing fast was the key to success. It became a sort of rhythm that they all picked up on and played along with. While the Pacers had some moments where they showed potential as a team and had standout individual performances, Miles Turner, for instance, set personal best with an average of 18 points and 7.5 rebounds. But for Haliburton, the focus wasn't on individual numbers. It was all about the team winning. Haliburton's performance during the season was really good. He averaged 20.7 points, 10.4 assists, 3.7 rebounds, and 1.6 steals a game, while being the head of offense. He wasn't just about scoring, he was also a great shooter, hitting more than the league average of his shots from beyond the three-point line and shooting 49% overall, which is pretty good for a guard. On March 6th, Haliburton put himself in the record books once again. In a game against the Philadelphia 76ers, he got his 30th double-double of the season by putting up an amazing 39 points and 16 assists. This was a remarkable feat and made him the first player in Pacers history to achieve 30-plus points and 15-plus assists in a single game. During his outstanding season, Haliburton got his first ever invite to the NBA All-Star Game in 2023 as a reserve guard for the Eastern Conference. In that game, he put up 18 points, 3 assists, and grabbed a rebound. The team finished 11th in the East with a 35-47 record. As the season wrapped up, Haliburton made history. He joined an elite group by becoming only the 15th player ever to maintain averages of over 20 points and more than 10 assists for a whole season. What made it even more special was his shooting ability. He hit over 40% of his shots from three-point range. This made him the first player in NBA history to achieve this combination of stats. Tyrese Haliburton's presence became a fascinating story in the 2023 NBA season. The Pacers center, Miles Turner, praised Haliburton as the top point guard in the East. This statement emerged in a competitive backdrop of talented players like Damian Lillard, Jalen Brunson, Trae Young, and Darius Garland vying for recognition. The Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr also recognized Haliburton's abilities. Having seen his growth during the NBA in-season tournament and coached him during their shared time on Team USA, Kerr likened Haliburton's playing style to a young Steph Curry. Despite the growing hype around Haliburton and the talks of potential MVP status, his season drew parallels to legends like Steve Nash. Nash's MVP year in 2005 wasn't just about big numbers, but about making an undeniable impact on the game. His efficient shooting and playmaking set a high standard, which proved that a player's greatness isn't solely measured by stats. "He's like a machine that's not turning the ball over," said Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo. As of this video, Tyrese is hitting 26.9 points and 12.1 assists on a 67.4% true shooting rate. Most analysts compare his style to legends like Nikola Jokic and Steph Curry in many debates.